Welcome. In this session, I'm going to discuss a few more questions from level 1 and then we will see questions from level 2. So the next question from level 1, okay, match the items in column 1 with the column 2. So here ascus is a structure of a fruiting body present in ascomycetes. An example of this ascomycetes here is penicillium. So penicillium. Then coming to the next one, basidium is a part of fruiting body, and this is present in case of basidiomycetes. An example of this basidiomycetes here is agaricus. Then coming to the kingdom Protista, an example of this kingdom Protista, we have euglenoids. Okay, an example of euglenoids is euglena, so that is 4. Then cyanobacteria are actually bacteria, and here an example of this one is spirulina. And lastly, the animalia. So here sponges who belong to the group porifera, phylum porifera, the first group of animals. So it will be 5. So 2 3 4 1 5 will be, so that is the first option. A is the right answer. Next question, arsenic acid is an antibiotic obtained from. So here the arsenic acid is a dibenzofuran derivative. Is a dibenzofuran derivative, and this is seen in case of several lichen species. Okay, so it's seen in several lichen species. Okay, so it's a formula we can take C18H16O7. Right, so arsenic acid is an antibiotic, so here the option, that is D, lichens, is the right answer. Next question, retroviruses has genetic material. So here retroviruses are viruses that have reverse transcriptase enzyme, have reverse transcriptase enzyme. So this reverse transcriptase enzyme, in short we can write it RT, and this one will actually help in formation of DNA from RNA. So RNA to DNA with the help of enzyme reverse transcriptase. Okay, so one example of this reverse transcriptase having enzymes having virus is HIV. So retroviruses. So here HIV is a retrovirus that has RNA as the genetic material. Okay, so this is an example of retrovirus. So HIV has RNA as genetic material and also has reverse transcriptase enzyme. So that is the reason why it is called retrovirus. So retroviruses will not have DNA as the genetic material. Okay, so you cannot also say DNA or RNA, so this will be also wrong. Okay, and even either DNA or RNA will also be wrong. So they will have only RNA as the genetic material. So option B is the right answer. So the next question, which of the following statements is false? Okay, so most animal viruses are the one who have DNA. So they are called DNA viruses. I told you, depending upon the type of genetic material they have. So the viruses are classified either into RNA viruses or DNA viruses. So in case of RNA viruses, they have RNA as the genetic material. They have RNA as the genetic material, whereas DNA viruses are the one, they have DNA as the genetic material. DNA as the genetic material. Okay, and here we know that the viruses infecting plants. So viruses infecting plants, they have single stranded RNA. They have single stranded RNA. And similarly, the viruses infecting animals, so they have single stranded RNA, or they may have double stranded RNA, or they may have even double stranded DNA, right? And lastly, the viruses infecting bacteria. So viruses infecting bacteria, so they are called bacteriophages, and they have double stranded DNA as the genetic material. So here most animal viruses, means the viruses that infect animals, they have DNA as the genetic material. So this is the right statement. Then the bacteriophage has a double stranded, the bacteriophage has a double-stranded DNA molecule. So here I told you the viruses that infect bacteria, they are called bacteriophages. So they are called bacteriophages, and they have double-stranded DNA. Yes, this is also a right statement. Okay, then the TMV, that is tobacco mosaic virus, have double stranded RNA molecule. So TMV doesn't have double stranded RNA molecule, so it has actually single stranded RNA molecule. So tobacco mosaic virus has single stranded RNA, not the double-stranded RNA. So hence this is a wrong statement. So most plant viruses are RNA viruses. Yes, this is also a right statement. So as he asked the false statement, so that is option C is the right answer. So next question, let's see a diagram. So given below is the diagram of bacteriophage. So already I told you bacteriophages are viruses that infect bacteria. So viruses that infect bacteria are called bacteriophages. Okay, in which one of the option all the four parts A, B, C, D are correct? So here A, so this is the head, okay, the head of okay, the virus, and C is the collar, and the B is sheath, and the D is the tail fiber. So they are tail fibers. So here you can see six tail fibers. Okay, right, and let's see the options. The A is a head, and then okay, B is sheath, A head, B sheath, and then C is collar, and D is tail fibers. Okay, so hence option C is the right answer. The next question, smallest organisms self reproducing in free living state are. Okay, so here let's see prions are of same size okay, with that of viruses. So here I mean is equal to doesn't mean they are same here. Okay, so here I'm comparing, okay, the size. So size of prions is similar to size of viruses. Okay, then when we compare bacteria, so here bacteria are bigger when compared with the prions. Okay, right, so here I'll write in the order. So bacteria are bigger when compared with the prions and viruses. Okay, and the last one comes will be the PPLOs. Okay, so whose full form is pleuropneumonia like organisms. Pleuropneumonia like organisms. Okay, so here this is a older name for mycoplasmas. Older name for mycoplasmas. Okay, and the mycoplasmas are the smallest, okay, organisms capable of self-reproducing, living in a, okay, free state. So the answer out of all these four, the PPLOs will be the smallest. So option B is the right answer. Next question, blue-green algae are called cyanobacteria because they, here actually the word cyanobacteria is derived from Greek, where kainos, which means blue. Okay, and we know these cyanobacteria are bacteria, so which are prokaryotes, and we know prokaryotes will not have nucleus. So let's see the options. They do not produce gametes. No, wrong, they produce gametes. Okay, then they're not green. No, they are green in color because they have chlorophyll A molecules. Okay, so cyanobacteria have chlorophyll A molecules. Okay, so this is the reason why actually they are called the blue green algae. And then they don't have nucleus, yes, and are as small as bacteria. Yeah, they are also bacteria. So out of four options, the C option is relevant to the question, so hence option C is the right answer. So the next one, here nucleoid is. So here this nucleoid is seen in case of present in prokaryotes. So it is present in prokaryotes. Okay, so the nucleoid is extra chromosomal genetic material. This extra chromosomal genetic material so is actually the plasmids. Okay, so they are also present in case of bacteria, but they are not called nucleoid. Then nuclear material in volvox. Okay, so volvox is the one that belongs to group algae. So it's an alga and it's a eukaryotic, which means it has nucleus. So actually the meaning of nucleoid is nucleus like. Okay, but it is not nucleus. Then nuclear material in bacteria, yes, it is nuclear material in bacteria. So when we see the bacteria, okay, so here the nuclear material is present, so in circular, so it is DNA. So this is DNA, and it will be surrounded by some proteins, okay, of some proteins, right? And these proteins and DNA, so these are proteins, okay, and DNA, so these together they form the nucleoid. Okay, so this is a bacteria. Okay, so the nuclear material in bacteria will be the right. Then extra chromosomal DNA in bacteria. Of course, the extra chromosomal uh, genetic material or extra chromosomal DNA will be the plasmid. So the right answer is option C, nuclear material in bacteria. Next question, pick up the wrong statement. Okay, so lichens are symbiotic associations. Yes, they are symbiotic associations, okay, between a fungus and an alga. Then lichens are very good pollution indicators. Yes, they are very good pollution indicators. Lichens do not grow in unpolluted areas. Okay, this is wrong. Lichens grow in unpolluted areas, means where there is no pollution, there lichens will be growing. So this is a wrong statement. The algal component of lichen is known as phycobiont. Yes, okay, the algal component, so this is called the phycobiont, whereas the fungal component is called mycobiont. So the wrong statement is option C is the right answer. Next question, which of the following protozoan parasite causes sleeping sickness? Here in the material, this sleeping is not printed. Okay, so there is a mistake in the question. So it was asking like following protozoan parasites causing sickness. So in fact here all these options, okay, entamoeba, plasmodium, trypanosoma, leishmania, all of them will cause sickness. Okay, so here make it the protozoan parasite, okay, causing sleeping sickness, right? So let's see the first one, entamoeba. So this entamoeba is a pathogen. In fact all here are pathogens, and entamoeba causes a disease called amoebiasis, also called amoebic dysentery. The next one, plasmodium. We know this plasmodium causes malaria, so it causes malaria. Then the trypanosoma, so this one causes African sleeping sickness. Okay, and then lastly the leishmania, this one causes a disease called leishmaniasis, okay. So here the sleeping sickness, which is called African sleeping sickness, is caused by trypanosoma. So the option C is the right answer. The next question from level 2, so barophilic, okay, prokaryotes. So here let's see a barophile. So barophile is an organism that requires high pressure environment, that requires a high pressure environment in order to grow. in order to grow. So that will be seen in deep oceans, okay, where the pressure will be very high. So let's see the options. Grow and multiply in very deep marine sediments. Yes, okay. Where the pressure will be very high deep in the oceans. Then occur in water containing high concentrations of barium hydroxide. No. Then readily grow and divide in seawater enriched in any soluble salt of barium. This is also wrong. Then grow slowly in highly alkaline frozen lakes at high altitudes. This is also wrong statement. So the barophilic prokaryotes who require high pressure to grow. So option A is the right answer. Here a note, there are some questions which they have asked in the level 2 with pathogens and the diseases. So here most of these questions you will be able to answer once we complete the chapter human health and diseases. So some of these questions have, okay, have been asked here. So don't worry if you are not able to answer them. You will be able to answer once I complete the chapter human health and diseases. Next question, incipient nucleus is found in. So here the meaning of incipient nucleus is a irregularly shaped genetic material in prokaryotes. So is the incipient nucleus, and here the first option which they have mentioned, mixophyceae. So this mixophyceae is a uh, group that includes the blue green algae. So it includes the group, okay, blue green algae. So here the rhodophyceae, chlorophyceae and phaeophyceae, we know these three are the classes of algae. Okay, the actual plants algae. So this algae, it includes all these groups, the phaeophyceae, then rhodophyceae and chlorophyceae. So here these algae are eukaryotes and they have nucleus. So eukaryotes and they have nucleus. Whereas the mixophyceae, which are blue-green algae, so are nothing but the cyanobacteria. And we know the cyanobacteria are prokaryotes. So in them there is no nucleus. So incipient nucleus is formed. So that is an irregularly shaped genetic material. No nuclear membrane is present, and that is seen in case of the group called mixophyceae. So that is option A will be the right answer. The next question, oxygenic photosynthesis occurs in. So here we already know oxygenic photosynthesis, which means oxygen is released in photosynthesis. Okay, so opposite is actually anoxygenic photosynthesis. So here in this case the chromacium is a group, so that actually are photoautotropic. So these are photoautotropic, but they perform an oxygenic photosynthesis. Okay, and oxygenic photosynthesis almost okay, all of these, that is the chlorobium is also okay, a genus, and actually this is a green sulfur bacteria. So green sulfur bacteria, okay. And the rhodospirillum also, it can be living aerobically or anaerobically, right? And in this case also it will be not releasing oxygen. So here, out of the four options, the oscillatoria is the one that performs photosynthesis and releases oxygen during the process of photosynthesis. So hence the option B is the right answer. Next question, teichoic acid is found in. So actually these teichoic acids, okay, are copolymers of glycerol, are copolymers of glycerol phosphate, copolymers of glycerol, okay, phosphates. So here these teichoic acids, we see them in case of present in cell walls of present in cell walls of most gram positive bacteria. So present in most gram positive bacteria. So here how we actually uh, classify, actually we classified these bacteria into gram positive, okay, and gram negative. So the bacteria are classified into gram positive and gram negative. So this is a staining technique, okay, and they apply crystal violet. So crystal violet is a stain. Crystal violet is a stain, and when this stain is applied then washed with alcohol, what happens is the gram positive will retain crystal violet stain. So it retains the crystal violet stain, okay, and right, appears in purple color, whereas in case of gram negative, when washed with after applying the crystal violet and washing with alcohol, it loses that crystal violet, and it will remain normal, okay. So because of that, if it doesn't take the crystal violet, then it is gram negative. If it takes up the crystal violet, then it is called gram positive. So this technique actually was introduced by a scientist named Hans Christian Gram. So he, okay, invented this staining technique. He invented the staining technique, right? So I'll just mention here. So gram positive bacteria takes up crystal violet, whereas gram negative, okay, doesn't take crystal violet. Okay, so here teichoic acids are found in the cell walls of most gram positive bacteria. So here the option C is the right answer. The next question, in prokaryotes, mitochondria are absent even then the Krebs cycle takes place. So what is the site of Krebs cycle in bacteria? Okay, so let's see. In case of bacteria, so here is the cell wall, and then below that is cell membrane, and this cell membrane will form some inner foldings in this way. Okay, so these are called mesosomes, are called mesosomes. Okay, and I'll just mention, so this is the plasma membrane and this is the cell wall, and this will contain certain enzymes inside. Of course, there are various functions of these mesosomes. Okay, so I'll just mention here. Okay, so these mesosomes will help in cell wall formation, will help in cell wall formation, and then help in DNA replication. Okay, and okay, and also help in cellular respiration, so that is help in respiration. Okay, and then secretion, etc. at some function. So you can see here uh, the respiration, so it is involved in the process of respiration. And when coming to here options, the nucleoid is, we know, okay, the nucleus like in prokaryotes, so that consists of proteins and DNA. Then ribosomes are sites of protein synthesis, are sites of protein synthesis. And you can see here the plasma membrane folds and forms mesosomes, which will help in the process of respiration. Okay, cytoplasm, in the cytoplasm uh, uh, is not seen, so in cytoplasm is not involved, okay, in case of this Krebs cycle. Okay, here the plasma membrane that folds and forms the mesosomes, which help in respiration. Actually, we know mitochondria are the powerhouses of cell, so which actually help in synthesizing. So it synthesizes, okay, so it synthesizes energy, okay, which will be in the form of ATP. So it will be in the form of ATP molecule. So the right answer is D, plasma membrane. The next question, osmoregulation in paramecium is a function of, so here osmoregulation, which means it's a maintenance of water balance, maintenance of water balance. Okay, so here we can see there are two contractile vacuoles. So these contractile vacuoles are the one who actually help in osmo regulation. So whatever that water enters into the paramecium will be collected by the contractile vacuoles and they pour it out. So here trichocysts are structures that actually help in defense. So they are present in paramecium, and cytostome is actually the cell mouth, is a cell mouth. So here you may see the presence of cell mouth. Then coming to anal pore, so this is also called cytopic, is also called cytopic. So here through this the food materials which are not digested will be sent out. So you can see here there is a formation of food vacuole. Okay, so whatever that food will be directed into this oral groove with the help of cilia, and through the cell mouth it results in the formation of a food vacuole. So this is a food vacuole, and inside that food, so once the food is digested and absorbed, the remaining undigested food will be uh, sent out. So the food vacuole comes and merges with the cell membrane, and then it breaks open and releasing the contents to outside. So that we call it cytopic or anal pore. So hence here osmoregulation in paramecium is a function of contractile vacuole. So that is option A is the right answer. Okay, so with this, I will end today's session. In the next session, we will see few more questions from level 2 and level 3.